Hello everybody and welcome back to another art challenge video. But before we jump too far into it, please excuse the audio for this video. I am a little sick at the time of recording, but it should be okay for me to get all the way through. Today's art challenge was a product of traveling over the holidays. I spent about 9 hours on an airplane or in an airport, and I had a lot of free time. So what I wanted to do was I started off in a non-fusion. That is to say, 9 characters combined into one. I was given the random prompt punk girl, so I combined together several punk girl characters that already exist, and I split them into groups of 3. And then I took those groups of 3, fused them into one, and then fused those fusions into one final design. That took up probably the first of my flights. The second thing that I did after that, while spending time at the airport, was I went in with that character design and I redesigned it based off of what I was seeing in the fusions to make it just a little bit more cohesive and fit together a little better. Then, on my second flight, I drew the character from the new fusion again, this time in my style, just having fun with it, and I made this finished character design. Now, I could have stopped there, but I still had a whole nother flight to go through on the way back, so we have a second leg to this particular project. On the second leg, I did a character interview with this character. Doing a character interview is a really good way of getting inside the head of a character to kind of understand their motivations and to better equip yourself with how you can write for them. If you're ever struggling to try to understand a character, I find it really helps to come up with a character interview and ask that character questions and then respond in the way that the character would. Some of the questions I like to use are, who are you? Where do you come from? What is something that you want from life that you haven't achieved yet? Who is someone you respect? And who is someone that you have a rivalry with, or who is an enemy? What's the best kind of sandwich? What's your favorite color and why? And what is something you really want but don't have yet? These sorts of questions help you get into the mind of the character to better understand them so that you can write for them better. I conducted this interview with Halsey. She is Halsey Bell Deal. Halsey is a con woman who occasionally works for a mob boss who runs a spaceport. She has been on the run from Margot, a space police detective ASMR, who is a stickler for rules. Halsey is bi-curious and likes classic rock, drum and bass, electro music, and generally has a pretty good outlook on life. She's an excellent pickpocket and likes ripping off rich guys, especially those who disrespect women. Halsey is an avid feminist and sees herself as a sort of Robin Hood type of character. Though she mocks Margot, the two women have a mutual sort of respect, bordering on friendship, though they are very different. Just from this character interview, I was able to get so much of a view of Halsey that I was able to write a character bio, so that if it were necessary, I could hand that bio off to someone else and they would be able to work with this character just as well as I can. This is kind of a big deal because it gets me to the fourth part of this multi-part journey that I went on with this character. After coming up with the interview for Halsey, I wrote down a prompt that is a female devilish space pirate who likes classic rock, muscle cars, and ships. Her favorite colors are orange, black, and blue. Using that prompt, I then made a whole nother character that is completely unrelated to Halsey, with a completely different look and a completely different design. We've gone through multiple parts to this challenge, but I'm still not done. See, when I came finally home and was able to get access to my computer, I colored in the piece using my usual character coloring method and drawing inspiration from the original fusions that I had created the character from. For this second character design, I did it in the style of Hitoshi Okuda, who was the mangaka artist for the No Need for Tenchi books, which were one of my favorite animes and also left such a permanent impact on the style of anime that I draw that I still have an influence from it today, even though it came out back in the 90s. Using the digital brush, I went in with the manga brush shrunk down to about 5 pixels, since Okuda usually has very fine lines on his work. And then I created the line art that way, trying my best to mimic the style of Okuda Sensei. But I'm still not done. How about a 6th challenge? You guys down for it? Because I am. One of the other challenges that I wanted to take on is I've been trying to play around with different forms of digital painting. And one that I've been looking forward to trying is the style of Ken Sugimori, who you may recognize as being the original artist for Pokemon. I am particularly fascinated with his Gen 1 painting style that's much more loose. So I played around with it a little bit and finally managed to come up with a digital workaround to create the Ken Sugimori style using Photoshop. So the final piece here began life as a fusion of 9 different characters into one, having that one design be redesigned, having that character who's resultant from that redesign have an interview, having that interview be turned into a prompt, drawing that prompt in the style of one artist and coloring it in the style of another. We're off to a great start here in 2022, and I'm very much looking forward to what the future brings. If you enjoyed this incredible journey, go ahead and hit that like button, and for more art challenges every other week, feel free to subscribe. But until next time, I'll see you later.